Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for joining us for the unveiling press conference of Andrea Pirlo at New York City FC. Before we dive straight into the press conference with Andrea and head coach Jason Kreis, just got a very few brief housekeeping announcements. Andrea's English lessons start next week, but until then we have an interpreter, so please wait until our translator has interpreted the questions back into English before you ask the next questions. There's a roaming microphone on each side of the room, so please just give me a show of hands when you're ready to ask the next question. Afterwards, there'll be a brief photo opportunity here with Jason and Andrea with the shirt, and then shuttles will be available to take you down to Pier 40, where we'll surprise children from Downtown United, one of our youth affiliates. Thank you very much, and we're ready for the first question.
Andrea, welcome to New York. Just your impressions on the city, how much you've visited here in your life, and if you're aware of all the Italian enclaves and places like Bensonhurst. I'm sure they're already preparing to come up Sunday.
Buongiorno a tutti, grazie. Sì, conosco New York da turista perché ci sono venuto un po' di volte, conosco un po' tutte le zone e mi trovo benissimo, anche se c'è sempre qualcosa di nuovo, e invece per quello che riguarda il campo speriamo di poter giocare, però vediamo giorno dopo giorno.
Good afternoon to you all, and thank you for being here. I've been to New York as a tourist several times, so I think I know pretty much all the various areas, and I feel really well over here. I like the fact that there's always new things around. In terms of the field, I hope to be able to play on Sunday, but let's see when we get to it.
Andrea, you've been able to play over the course of your career with some really tough box-to-box midfielders who were able to provide you with the kind of cover that puts you in a position to do the things that you do extremely well and help your team succeed. How do you see yourself in terms of that dynamic fitting in with this particular group of players here in New York City?
Ho giocato sì, con tanti giocatori, con tanti campioni, però l'importante è sempre la squadra, il gruppo va oltre ogni singolo giocatore, quindi anche qua mi metterò a disposizione dell'allenatore, dei compagni per cercare di raggiungere i migliori risultati.
Yes, I've been blessed playing with some of the best champions that were out there. But the most important thing is always the team. First and foremost is the group that is important. That goes beyond each individual player. So I can only say that I'm available. I'm available to my coach and my team, and I want to do my best in order to reach the best results.
Ciao Andrea, ben arrivato. Fabio Rossomando, Sky Sport. Faccio la domanda in italiano così è più semplice per noi. Insomma, sei arrivato l'altro ieri, ieri primo allenamento, oggi di nuovo in campo. Quali sono le tue sensazioni e che differenza hai trovato, almeno dalle prime impressioni che hai avuto?
I ask you a question in Italian because I represent Sky Sport from Italy. So I wanted to know, you've only been here 2 days at this point. You've already done one training. What are your first impressions? What is your feeling? What are the major differences that you've noticed?
Sono stati 2 giorni, quelli di ieri, quelli di oggi, importanti. Ho voglia di iniziare perché è un'esperienza nuova e quindi c'era molta voglia di vedere cosa c'era di nuovo. E sono andati bene, adesso bisogna trovare solo la condizione migliore per poter iniziare a giocare, però ci sono tutte le possibilità per far sì che sia qualcosa di importante.
Yes, these have been two very important days, and I really felt like getting into the field. Everything is new, and this is so amazing, but I'm feeling well, and the only thing that is left to do is to really get to the right physical condition in order to play at my best. So everything is going well, and that's it.
Per quanto riguarda la tua condizione atletica, fisica, come stai e quando ti vedi in campo? Nel senso, pensi che magari domenica proprio contro Kakà tu possa debuttare?
So in terms of your physical conditions, how do you feel, and do you think that you will be able to do your debut on Sunday?
Non lo so, adesso come ho già detto prima dipenderà molto da giorno dopo giorno se mi sentirò meglio, però nonostante il mese di vacanza ho lavorato e quindi sto abbastanza bene. Vedremo domenica.
Well, I do not know. As I mentioned before, it really depends on how things go day by day. I've been on vacation for a month, and I did work during that month, but and I am feeling well, but we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Jason, how much of an impact can Andrea make to the team on the pitch and also as a leader of it?
Massive. Massive impact for a player like Andrea with the history that he's had and the experience he's had and the position that he plays in our group, a very central role to what we'll be trying to accomplish. So we're very happy that he's here. We're looking forward to all the benefits that he can bring us. And then off the field, his experiences are extremely important and vital to what we're trying to do as well. Because as we know in this league, it's not just about what you can provide to a team on the field, it's what you can provide to a team off the field as well. There's young players that need instruction and coaching and development, and they will always have three players now, two midfielders and a forward that they can lean on and look to for soccer solutions.
Okay,
Following up on that, Jason, a player of Andrea's pedigree, does it take him a little bit of time to mesh with the group? I'd imagine any player in the world it would for a new team. You've had him in, I guess, 2 training sessions now. And it is also, he's been asked the question about his availability on Sunday. What do you anticipate his role, if any, on Sunday?
Yeah, my honest opinion is that it takes any player time to transition to any different league. Whether he was going from Italy to England or from the U.S. to Italy or from anywhere to anywhere. So I do think there will be a transition period that will come through playing matches. The training sessions we've had him involved in too. He was quite special today to see him out there. We'll continue to build him up through the week. And I would reiterate exactly what he said, that it's a day-over-day process. And we are not ready to make that decision today, and we don't need to make it today. So by Sunday, I think we're all hopeful that there will be a role for him, but we'll see.
Jason, what does it mean for you as a soccer fan, a soccer expert, to have this collection of superstars, not only in your team, but just across MLS at this point in time?
Yeah, I continue to say that I think this is an incredible, incredible time for our league. An incredible time for the people that are involved in it, like myself, somebody that's been here from day one, 1996 of MLS till now. This is a special, special time that we need to appreciate and take advantage of, because I think that we're heading in a really positive direction. And it's not just our team. I mean, look around, the number of world-class players internationally that are now in our league right now, and that will continue to be so. I'm quite certain that we'll see a few more by the end of the summer. So really, really special time, and I couldn't be happier to be a part of it.
Dave Martinez, Empire of Soccer. Question for Jason and for Andrea. Jason, how have the players taken to Andrea Pirlo this week in training? I mean, you're bringing in a star player who was just recently in the highest stage, the highest level. It must have been a big experience for both the veterans and the young kids on the squad.
Everybody's as pleased as I am that we're able to add this type of player and this type of character to our group. I think, it wasn't like we were all, or all the players were standing there with their mouths open looking at him. But I do think that everybody's appreciative of the talent and the quality that he brings. In particular today, I think he had his first real opportunity to show some of his qualities, and could hear the chatter amongst the players that they were all pretty impressed.
And to Andrea, there was a recent salary reveal for Major League Soccer from the Players Union, and it was surprising to most that you were listed as making $2 million for this year, where most expected you to be making more. Is that a testament to your desire to play with New York City FC?
Sì, no. Per me i soldi non sono mai stati un problema. Prima di tutto viene il campo, poi quando uno gioca e dimostra è giusto che guadagni, però il calcio è una cosa, il denaro è un'altra. Per fortuna non ho avuto adesso bisogno di giocare per soldi, e gioco perché mi piace giocare a calcio. Poi dopo si può dire quello che si vuole.
Well, money for me, it's never been an issue. The most important thing is to play. It's the field where you play. Then, of course, when you show your qualities, it's only right that you earn some correct amount of money. But I think that soccer is one thing and money is another thing. I've always been able to play for the love of the sport, not for the money. Then everybody can do whatever they please.
The next question, we've asked our fans to send questions for Andrea via Twitter, so the next question comes from one of our fans.
So this question is presented by Etihad Airways and Alitalia, and why Gino Milan asks, what do you think of New York City and its Italian community?
Ma so che c'è una grandissima comunità italiana, quindi sono contento, spero che vengano in tanti allo stadio per seguire la squadra, per seguirmi, e sicuramente li faremo divertire.
Well, I know that there is a large Italian community over here, and I'm very happy, and I hope that they will come to the stadium to see me play, and I'm sure that we will make them enjoy it.
Okay.
If I could just ask one question to Jason, one question to Andrea. So Jason, it seems like Andrea has the easiest job here because he just has to focus on his work. You have to figure out how to put the pieces around him. How long do you think that transition will take?
Well, first I'll agree with you. The player's job is always easier than the coach's. If I could go back in time, I would. Yeah, I think that it's going to take some time. I think that we're going to do everything in our power to make that time as short as possible, through video work, through training, through communication. We're going to do everything we can to make the time as short as possible. I don't hold a crystal ball. I can't tell you exactly how long that will be. But I do think that, and I hope that, I know for sure that our club recognizes that there's going to be a transition period here, and I'm hopeful that everybody understands there'll be a small transition period here.
And then Andrea, some of the stars that have come over from Europe have been surprised that they're not as easily recognized. Is that something that you are going to embrace, the anonymity, or is that something you're going to look to change and try to make yourself more of a household name in America?
Ma no, nella mia carriera non sono mai stato uno che va sulle riviste, fa pubblicità, non sono il tipo da copertina, quindi sono venuto in America non per fare il turista, non per fare pubblicitario, ma per giocare a calcio, che è la cosa più importante per me e la cosa che riesco meglio. Poi se ci può aiutare anche l'MLS a crescere, ben venga, però la cosa più importante per me è aiutare la squadra e giocare a calcio.
Well, I've never been throughout my career the kind of guy that always appears on the cover of magazines. I'm not really somebody that cares too much for publicity. I've been here, I am here not to be a tourist, but to play. It's something that comes easy to me. It's something that I enjoy doing, and I think that I do it well. So, of course, I want to help MLS to grow and to become more recognizable, but my major responsibility is that of playing and to do it well.
Andrea, with NYCFC currently on the brink of garnering a playoff spot, what do you feel is a goal for the team for the rest of the season?
Il campionato è ancora lungo, c'è stato, come ha detto anche il mister, un periodo di transizione perché è una squadra nuova, partita da zero, però adesso bisogna cambiare pagina, bisogna guardare avanti perché bisogna raggiungere i playoff e sono certo che col lavoro quotidiano riusciremo a centrare gli obiettivi.
Well, we still have a long while to go in the season. So as the coach already said, we have a new team, a team that started completely from scratch this year. And so at this point, we have to turn a new leaf. We have to try and do our best to reach the playoffs. And I'm sure that with all the work we're going to put into this, we will be able to reach that result.
This is for Andrea. Whenever people are writing about you or speaking about you, inevitably your age always creeps into the conversation. How do you respond to that as far as your age and how it reflects how you'll do?
No, purtroppo non posso tirare indietro gli anni, quindi la mia età è questa, però non sono vecchio, ho voglia di giocare, sto bene e quindi cercherò di dare sempre il meglio. Poi non mi sembra che gli altri giocatori siano tanto più giovani di me e quindi lasciamo parlare chi vuol parlare solamente dell'età.
Well, unfortunately, I can't go back. That's the age. And in any event, that's what it is. But in any event, I don't feel that I'm old. I feel like playing. I very much would like to play. And I think that, there's also other players that are not so much younger than me. So in any event, let's leave people that want to talk about age. I'm just going to do my job.
Andrea, volevo chiederti, quando hai preso la decisione di venire qui a New York e giocare per il New York FC, se ti sei confrontato con Antonio Conte, se hai parlato con lui così come ha fatto Giovinco, almeno questo è quello che lui ci ha detto. E poi un'altra domanda, chiederti cosa ne pensi di chi in Italia crede che questo sia un campionato di livello secondario.
Sì, ho parlato con Conte, scusa.
I wanted to ask you about your decision to join the New York City Football Club. When you made your decision, did you talk to Mr. Conte, as Mr. Giovinco told us that he did? And the other question that I wanted to ask you is, what do you answer people in Italy that say that the United States League is rather a B type of league, it's not an A type of league?
Ho parlato con Conte della decisione che ho in mente, lui l'ha avallata, gli ho anche detto che se voleva venire in vacanza a vedere le partite poteva venire e quindi siamo in buoni rapporti, poi deciderà lui se convocarmi o no, io sono a disposizione, ma dipenderà soprattutto dal campo. Per quanto riguarda la Liga, l'MLS è un campionato in crescita, non è sicuramente di basso livello, anche perché è un gioco fisico con tanti giocatori bravi, tanti giocatori che vengono anche dal Sud America, quindi il livello si sta alzando molto. Speriamo che possa crescere ancora.
Yes, I did talk to Mr. Conte before I came over here. I told him about my decision, and he agreed that it was a good decision. And then I also told him that if he wanted to come over here for a vacation and watch some of the games, he was welcome. So we have a very good relationship, and I told him that I would stay available to him. And of course, at the end, everything is his decision. Then, of course, the MLS is growing. It's pretty young at this point, but it is a very physical type of game, the one that is played here. And there's a lot of, it's very demanding. There's a lot of players that come from South America, so the level is improving overall, and I am sure that it will keep improving.
Julian Averett from Metro Soccer Nation. I really wanted to focus on football. How do you feel on the ball, and do you still feel the same passion with the ball from when you were in Europe to here?
Sì, no, è sempre la stessa, anzi quando si fanno delle avventure nuove, delle decisioni nuove come questa, aumenta sempre di più. Per fortuna ho ancora questa voglia, questa passione, anche perché sennò sarei rimasto in Italia e sarei rimasto magari ancora per poco tempo sui campi da calcio. Invece la passione c'è, finché resterà tale continuerò a giocare.
Oh yes, the passion is still there. It has not gone down. It's always been there. And furthermore, every time that you start a new adventure, the passion can only increase. But in any event, if it hadn't been so, I would have stayed in Italy. I probably would have played a few more games, and then I would have left soccer, but that's not what I decided to do. So I will stay, and I will keep on doing my best for the ball that I love so much.
Hey, I had a question for Jason. With the addition of a player as distinctive as Andrea, who has such a distinctive style of play, are you looking at changing the tactical scheme of how NYCFC plays, or is it more likely that Andrea will have to adapt to NYCFC?
I think that it's always been our goal and objective to play a style that would really suit Andrea. I can tell you that we haven't always achieved that goal in all of our games this year, but it has been our directive and our objective to play a very much possession style game, a dominant game, a game where we're looking to dictate the tempo of the match. And with somebody that happens to dictate the tempo of matches very well, we think that this should be a perfect fit.
This one's for Andrea. When you were competing against David Villa and Frank Lampard in Champions League and World Cup, did you ever think what it would be like to play with them one day?
Ma no, in quei momenti pensi solo alle partite, non pensi a un futuro di poter giocare con questo o con quel giocatore. Si pensa alla partita e a vincere. Poi queste cose succedono, che magari in un futuro si gioca con altri giocatori, però quando si è in campo si pensa a tutt'altro.
Well, when you are on the field, you only think of the game. Basically, you don't start thinking about the future, what might happen, who you may be playing with, and so on and so forth. You only care about winning. You do everything you can to win there and then. Then it just so happens that you are in the same team with someone, And of course, you know, you're going to do your best in order to work with this new person and win.
Andrea, welcome to New York. Robert Abramowitz from NYCFC in Spanish on radio. The dimensions of Yankee Stadium are a little bit smaller than you might be accustomed to. It's only 70 yards wide and maybe not as long as some of the other fields. How do you feel, does that affect your game? Is that a positive or is that a negative?
No, i campi più o meno sono tutti uguali, sono tutti delle righe, quindi quelle sono le cose principali. Ci sono più larghi, più lunghi, più stretti, ma sempre di poco. L'importante è giocare e le regole sono sempre le stesse, sia in Italia che in America.
No, actually, you know, the fields are more or less the same everywhere. You know, the measurements have to be within a certain range. You know, it could be a little bit larger, it could be a little bit narrower, but it doesn't really matter. The rules of the games are the same, and so I feel that there isn't much of a difference altogether.
Andrea, star players have come through this league many times, and they've all come with different ambitions. David Beckham looked at himself as an MLS ambassador and a player of the LA Galaxy, while Thierry Henry was more focused on the club side. Where would your role be, not only with this growing league, but with your club? Do you consider yourself strictly a player for NYCFC or also an ambassador to the sport in this country?
Sono venuto qua nel New York City come giocatore a New York City, quindi il mio obiettivo è quello di cercare di portare più avanti possibile la squadra e possibilmente di vincere. Poi se questo è d'aiuto anche per l'MLS, per la sua crescita, ben venga, però sono stato acquistato dal New York City e il mio obiettivo è quello di vincere con New York City.
Well, you know, I came here to be a soccer player, so that's my main objective, first and foremost, to do the best for the team and then possibly make my team the winner. Then, of course, if I can help the MLS, if I can help it in any way to grow and develop, I will. But I was hired by New York City Football Club to play, and that is the first thing that I have to do.
This is a question for Coach Kreis. Do you have an update on the situation of Frank Lampard? Do we know if he will be available to play next Sunday?
No update yet.
Volevo chiederti quanto tempo ci è voluto per smaltire le scorie della delusione, della sconfitta di Champions League, se le hai smaltite. E poi, tra quelle perdute, qual è stata quella più pesante? Ne hai giocate 4, 2 le ha vinte e 2 le hai perdute.
Well, I wanted to ask you how long it took you, if you have reached the point of basically getting rid of the bad vibes of losing the Champions League. You played 4 games in the league. You won 2 and you lost 2. So tell us about it. Have you totally gotten rid of the bad vibes, or you're still working on it?
Purtroppo quando si giocano e si perdono certe partite come le finali di Champions rimane la delusione per un po', anche perché quando ti metti a letto ti rivengono in mente delle azioni, delle cose della partita che ti fanno ripensare sempre alla partita. Però credo che la più grossa delusione rimanga quella di Istanbul con il Milan, anche se quell'ultima contro il Barcellona è stata forte, perché sapevo che sarebbe stata la mia ultima finale di Champions e quindi mi è dispiaciuto molto.
Okay, we just have time for one more question right at the back.
Well, unfortunately, when you play certain games, the disappointment can stay with you for a long time. Of course, you go to bed at night, and before you fall asleep, you start thinking, maybe that should have happened in a different way, and so on. The most important game that sticks in my mind is the one in Istanbul with AC Milan. But probably the one that has the strongest feeling is the last one, the one against Barcelona. Also because I knew it would be my last game within the Champions League.
Hi, I'm from Serbia, SOS Channel. I want to ask something about development of soccer in America. We are filming a special TV series about that. I want to ask the coach, we had, in the past decades, several big names from European football, soccer, to come to the US. Is MLS gaining momentum strong enough to become the best league in the world with the biggest players in their prime, not at the end of their career? As we can see, this club gained 3 big names and they started for scratch. And for Andrea, is his role here more than just ambassador at the end of the career, but a part of one project of building the biggest league possible in the world? Thank you.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I think this is a really, really positive and exciting time for our league in this country. I do believe that we should have goals and objectives to grow our sport and to grow our league as it's viewed worldwide. And so, for sure, a goal of ours should become one of the best leagues in the world. I think a mini goal, and one that's maybe a little more attainable right now, should be to be the best league in the Western Hemisphere. We have a very big league just south of us in Mexico that we can compare and contrast ourselves to. And when we play them, we're typically a little bit behind. So I think that's a first step that's relevant and something that we should go after, is to be overall a better league than they are, and to become the league of choice for South Americans to come to. Because again, the majority of those players choose to go to Mexico over MLS as it stands right now. So I think we have a good future in front of us. I think we have some very realistic objectives that we can look forward to. And I think as we continue to grow and continue to attract players, more players that are in their prime and more players that are important players, that we can look to that in the future. Andrea's role in our team is not to be here for an ambassador. Andrea's role is to be one of the most important players in our team. Andrea's role is to help this team win and win now. Our objective is to make the playoffs this year. We have 14 games remaining. We're 3 points out of a playoff spot right now. We've made 5 additions over the last several weeks of all guys that are starting caliber players. And so we think this is a very exciting time for our club. And we're extremely happy that Andrea is part of that, and he will be leaned upon to help us to lift things up and to give us a chance to make the playoffs.
Okay, thank you very much. That concludes the press conference. We're ready for the photo opportunity here. If you've not got a camera or a photographer with you, then we'll syndicate these images later this afternoon. Thank you very much. If cameras want to move to the front, that's fine. Thank you. We're just going to go in front of this backdrop here, I think. Amanda, where do you just want them just here? Yeah. Does this work?
Contro lo sfondo, così si vede bene lo sfondo.